people that know him all saying the same thing. Private right now. Is it possible to leave the live and change your settings so you're not private? Because a lot of people are following you, and I'd like to follow you so you can come into a box. So, yeah, maybe not. I'm really not sure how that works if somebody's private. I'm gonna, as we're waiting for Bobby, I'm gonna talk a little more, but I'm also gonna make myself a cup of coffee because I definitely need one right now. A lot of people in this world and in this room right now have been through, traumatic situations in their life. Many people have. And, it is possible, hold on. Shit. It is possible to overcome those issues and, lead a successful life. Of course, it's called growing up. And I'm not going to say that, there was no trauma that he had to deal with as a kid. There was. But there were choices that he made that led him to become the person he is. And, I always say bad choices, when you're younger, don't change and you keep making bad decisions, kind of foretell what your future is going to be. In Sean's case, he started making bad decisions at a very young age. So, a lot of the things that Sean has said in his lives about his life, it's all been verified that that he's lied about a lot of stuff. The first big thing that he lied about in his life. Yeah, I can get you up here now, Diana. Let me bring you up. Ah, yes. Welcome up.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming in tonight. You know kind of the background, I'm sure, of why I started bringing awareness to your brother.
I'd prefer you not call him that to me, but that's okay.
How about I just refer to him as, should I just refer to him as Sean?
Sure.
Okay. Or any other names? I'm willing to use different names for him.
Hey, I can give you one. Newman.
Okay, so we'll refer to him as Alfred.
Great.
So now, this is actually a good place to start, with you, because you were there for his early years, and you can shed some light onto a lot of the lies that he has said over time. So, first of all, are you older?
Yes.
You're older than Sean?
Yes.
And there were how many kids? How many kids were in your family? How many siblings do you have?
Well, we've never lived with our other siblings. It was
Right.
just him and I for the longest time.
Okay. So, and we know it really wasn't that long of a time, right?
No,
Because
not really.
um, when Sean, well, there's a lot of stories he tells.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sure.
he's blamed you for him getting a whooping, saying that, I forgot exactly what the story. He tattled on me for something I didn't do, and, I got a whooping for
Actually, I
it.
did share that. I did share a story with Bobby about I did get him in really big trouble once. In it's like an atypical girl thing, more or less, I guess. Um, we were living with my mom's best friend and her two children, and we were commonly liked going to hunt for salamanders.
Uh-huh.
Well, that douche wouldn't pick it up. I wanted him to pick up the salamander.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
I was like, well, I'm going to get you in trouble. And I bit myself. And I did it really hard. And he did get a whooping for that. And I felt bad because he got in trouble for something I did. But he really pissed me off because I wanted that damn salamander. I couldn't catch it because he was quicker than I was. And slime.
Right. Well, listen, I have older brothers, and I used to pull that shit too. I mean, we all did that. Because I got in trouble for so much stuff. Of course, I had to throw them under the bus a couple times.
Just normal sibling rivalry.
Absolutely. But
we did have a rough. We had a terrible stepfather. He was a severe alcoholic. He would commonly use a belt, so he'd never, if he mentioned that ex-stepfather, then that was truth.
right.
There were times that we didn't have food, so if he said anything about that, that's truth. I can actually share a story in particular that was, it's a heart-wrenching kind of sort of story now that I think about it now, but if I was to see other children do it now, I would just be heartbroken. We had one of those old refrigerators that you had to yank, and all we had in there was a dried old hot dog, a singular hot dog, and half a can of old tomato soup. And my brother and I were hungry, and we sliced up the hot dog and we ate that. And it wasn't an easy childhood.
Right.
And once things came about because certain behaviors and whatnot, my mom couldn't take anymore. Sorry.
No,
And she turned around and she called Department of Human Services to have him removed.
Now, I want to talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind. And Bobby, welcome in. Brandy, again, thank you for coming up. And both of you guys, Bobby and Brandy, if you have any questions, please, chime in, because I want to tell you guys, everybody that's in here, Bobby and Brandy. Found a lot of information out about Sean. So I kind of feel like I'm just here, and I'm kind of riding the wave because, Bobby did a lot of this. He found out a lot of information about, where Sean was, and, family members reaching out to him. And I know, Bobby and I have been speaking with the same relative of his. We were talking to this person today also. So, a big shout out, Diana, to you too, thank you for coming up here. I know that you have not been in touch with your brother for quite a while.
Yeah, I cut him off.
Yeah. So, and somebody just said something in the chat that is true. Somebody said that you sound not to be mean towards Alfred, but you sound very intelligent and very, stable.
Unfortunately, my brother and I are polar opposites.
So, you know, I want to talk a little bit with Sean. Did you sense that there was something different about him? And I'm talking just purely like from an educational perspective, from a learning perspective. Did you notice there were differences with him and other kids his age?
Not, I don't know. He liked to play rough, but I mean, back in those times, it was like also normal, but there was just some things that weren't.
Right.
And my mom just, like I said, my mom couldn't handle it when it came to a neighbor's child and whatnot. She's, there's some I'm gonna leave out because
Right. And just to, I want to, what you're kind of bordering on there. I can tell you a little over a year ago, your nephew was in a box and brought those allegations up about Sean.
nephew, what nephew?
Scammy, it's her son.
Oh, it's your son. Okay. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. And
He didn't get left alone with the kids.
right.
If he went to like a store, I waited anytime that he was alone with them at a older age.
Right.
I knew damn well they could take care of themselves.
Right.
Especially my boys. So,
But to keep it TikTok clean, okay, and on the up and up on TikTok. What I've heard is that your brother inappropriately touched a child when he was a child.
that's the yeah.
And he was around 8 years old, right, when this happened.
I have a real I could say maybe yeah about that. I'm sketching.
It was
some of
obviously
the
before he was he was brought to DHS.
Yeah, it was like right before.
Okay, so so the allegations that your son made were actually true.
Yeah.
So this is a young child, 8, 9 years old, whatever Sean was at the time, and it is indeed fact that there was something inappropriate that went on. I also heard from other family members that this did not only happen one time.
Confirmed.
Okay. So it was, and I also heard that it was, I'm trying to figure out a way to, it was kids that he knew.
Confirmed.
Okay. So, the whole time, and to be honest with you, I feel like a horse's ass because I stuck up for Sean.
Many do.
I stuck up for him because, I did pull his police record and there's nothing listed there. Now, I was looking for something when he was actually 18 or older. And indeed, it turned out he was much younger than that, which is why there's no police record.
Right. Nothing was ever done. My mom turned around, like I said, she called DHS and She could, like I said, she couldn't handle it. And from there, I don't know what happened in the foster homes, but he was bounced from foster home to foster home to foster home until he was placed into Spurwink in South Portland.
And
And
tell us what Spurwink is, just so people know what that
well,
is.
Spurwink is a well, back then, I don't know what it is now, but I know back then it was a group home or type of reform school or whatever for boys or kids or whatever it was. My mother and I did go see him a couple of times while he was there. And my grandmother, my uncle was going to take him in. And what ended up happening was there was an incident with my little cousins and a broken coffee pot. Me and my mother was living in Houghton, Maine at the time, and he was in Green. He was at my grandmother's house at the time, and my two little cousins were there. And there was a broken coffee pot and some other stuff was going on, I guess. And he was on the phone with me and my mom, and he had threatened to duct tape my grandmother.
Oh my God.
And my uncle then said, "Nope, I'm not taking him in."
And how old was he at this time?
He might have been like 12.
Mm. Wow.
He then had later in time, he got out of Spurwink. He most likely ran away. And he showed up at our house, and Mom let him in, and we were going to let him stay. And there was other things that had ended up transpiring to a point my mother ended up extremely uncomfortable. And she pulled me off to side, and she said that I needed to put a knife in my door. Her and Dad, which was my latest stepfather, he was going to have a knife in the door as well because they didn't trust that he wouldn't hurt one of us because he was so not right in the head because he would say certain things, and it just put my dad on edge. And my dad told Mom to talk to me because I wouldn't have listened to him at that time because new stepfather, and the way I saw it, he was getting in the way of me hanging out with my brother. And because Sean and I used to be really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to be there for my brother.
Yeah, I know.
But as time grew on, I ended up seeing things,
Mm-hmm.
and it weren't a good thing.
Right. Right.
Because I always tried to believe in the best, and
right.
he's my brother. I love him, but I hate him so much at the same time.
I understand. And I'm, that's why, when I started talking tonight, I said that this isn't, this live tonight isn't something that I'm doing a happy dance about because there are so many people that have been affected,
Exactly.
negatively about him. And, although, as an awareness person, I'm happy that the truth is finally coming out about him. A lot of the lies that he has said are going to be debunked tonight. I'm not happy about this. I'm not, I'm not doing backflips. We all knew that Sean was not a good person. But, you realize how many other people have been affected negatively by him. So, hold on, Meeps. Yep, I'm bringing you up. So
My mother.
I'm sorry. What was that, Diana?
I can debunk my mother is not in the hospital.
Right.
And I did mention that he was running a thing where he's trying to get money up to go be with our mother.
Yeah.
And when I told her that, she goes like, "Oh wait, we can't swear, can we?" She said
Oh, you can swear.
like fudge packers, he's gonna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he was saying for a very long time that, well, my mother is very ill. I need to move closer to her so I can see her. And
She won't let him in.
I was going to say the bottom line is that he hasn't seen her for, somebody said 14 years. Is that accurate?
That likely is accurate. I know when he did finally find me again in my adult years after I was married and had 2 children. Um, he and how he got to me was based on a lie.
Yeah, you want to tell everybody what he did?
Hi, Diana.
Hi. He turned around and he found my place of work, which was at Kmart in Auburn, Maine at the time. And he turned around and told them that he needed to find me because he was dying of stomach cancer.
Yeah, see, that's a story I never heard.
And they literally gave him my home address
Yeah.
and my phone number.
Yeah.
Wow.
Literally
And what was the
right
point?
before.
What did he need? Why did he want to see you? What was the whole point of that?
He said that he wanted to be able to say his goodbyes and spend some time with me and try to be able to see and talk to our mother. And let me tell you what, I tried. She wanted me to turn around and get a feel to see if he changed any, if he was stable. And my dad, which is the latest stepfather. So when I say my dad, I'm talking about my dad that passed not last year, the year before.
Okay.
Um, my dad was always about safety, especially for my mom, because she has a low constitute for stress.
Right.
And I even tried to get her to come on here with me, even
Right.
if it was with her on another telephone.
Mm-hmm.
She is so disgusted and upset with what he's doing and how he's using her
Yeah.
for monetary gains and nothing. If he's ever done it, well, Bobby did tell me about something about gifts for my mother. And I will tell you this right now, my mother's never received anything.
Yeah.
I can confirm that.
Guys,
When
this
I
is
was-
a trigger warning tonight. Trigger warning tonight. You know, we're going to be discussing some very heavy family dynamics. We're going to be talking about DV at one point. You know, we've been talking about some inappropriate behavior with young kids. So, you know, please, if this becomes too hard, you know, you may want to step out and Ruby, stop it, and you know, listen to it on the recording when it's posted. But you know, tell me something. When Sean was younger, was he was he diagnosed with any educational disabilities?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, because you know he has said that you know he had a hard time learning, and he didn't get any help, and you know all of this, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, he claims he has dyslexia. He you know he claims a lot of stuff. He claims he has a lot of stuff. I know that from what I've heard, he has been receiving an SSI check for most of his life. Are you aware of that?
Yes, he has.
And do you know how old he was when he started receiving that?
No.
I can tell you that um, based on who I spoke with today, and again, I've spoken to one of his exes, and I've talked to another relative. I was told that his SSI is not based on any physical disabilities.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It's based on something else, and
I know the diagnosis.
yeah. I was told meeps today by some family members that he has been diagnosed with some stuff, but even at a young age, he refused to take medication. And that
He's refused to take medication. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and that is according to these people. They said that was a big part of his problems, that he refused to take medication for it. Now,
I would agree with that because that was like half the battle in almost a 16-year relationship with him is he had issues, but he didn't want to take meds for it.
Yeah. And you know, it's like how interesting how all of this intertwines, because do you remember a year ago this past summer, he said he had to put himself in a mental health facility because he was having a hard time. And even then, when he was there, when he got out, he said he spoke to somebody there and that they gave him a prescription for something, but he said, I'm not taking that fucking shit.
Can't help those that can't help themselves.
Yeah. So, you know, pretty much, you know, we're dealing with somebody that, you know, indeed, you know, based on everything I've heard and based on what he said, he does have some mental health problems. There's a lot of us that deal with things on a daily basis, have that stability, you know, in our life. And from what it sounds like to me is this is something that he has had his whole life and is not taking proper care of it based on what the doctors have been telling him. So let's talk about, you know, so Sean goes into a group home. He was going to be taken in by a family member. Something happened and they said, oh, heck no. Mm-mm.
Right.
Okay, so he went back to the group home or wherever he was.
Right.
So from what it sounds like, nobody was interested in adopting him, and at 18, he aged out of the program.
Yes.
Now, I had heard, and this is going to tie in with something else. I had heard that there was an incident where he was staying, whether it was a YMCA or something. Was there something that had to do with arson?
I have no idea about it.
Okay.
Somebody else may, but I don't.
Yeah, I was
That's
told.
a story I was told.
Yeah, I was told by a family member that he got in trouble for arson because he lit his room on fire where he was at the YMCA, and that's when he got in trouble for the first time with the law. And
Well, do you happen to know exactly how old he was?
I believe it was when he was around 18.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I didn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't around me that at that point.
Yeah. When did you?
Probably around 14ish. 14.
And, and that's how old you were. And how old was he? Was younger than you, right? You don't have to give his age because I don't want to give away your age there.
Oh, I ain't worried about my age. I'm almost a senior citizen, baby.
You go, girl.
I'm 49.
Oh, you're a baby. You're a baby. Oh my God. I don't even remember 49. I don't really. I remember 50. 50 was tough. I'm not going to lie. 50
Don't
was.
scare me. I'm 6 months
Sorry.
away.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You do you, boo boo. You'll be great. So you were 14 and Sean was out of the house. Was there a difference in the house once he left?
Always.
Yeah. Was it much like, could you feel like atmosphere wise it was different, stress wise and all that?
Go stand in the middle of a jail cell.
Then what?
Then do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. The air was thick. It was full of tension. A butter knife just couldn't cut through it.
And once he was out of that house, that was all gone.
Oh yes.
When did you realize? At what age did you realize that he was problematic? In terms of his behavior and all that. I mean, did you know it at that time, or did it take you a little while when you got older?
I knew, but I always, like I said, I always wanted to be close to my brother, so I always had hopes upon hopes. And at 14, 15, of course you're going to be naive because you haven't lived and experienced life.
Mm-hmm.
So I always hoped that things were going to change and he was going to be amazing because I used to think my brother could be anything he wanted to be and be an upstanding citizen, a good man. Because
Diana, I tried to get him to just look at his outlook on life different, try a job. He just doesn't want to change.
no.
Now,
When he finally did get back with me, we turned around and we hit it off, and nothing really seemed amiss right off the bat.
yeah,
So I was like, "Oh, right, this is awesome! I have my brother. My brother's great." I was so happy, and then all of a sudden, small things started happening. He got together with one of my friends, and she would share a little bit, and then all of a sudden things went south and she's like, I don't want him at my house. I don't want him at my house. Tell him I'm not home. And she would never get into it with me.
yeah,
And I'm like, okay. And that put a strain on her and I's friendship.
yeah. As it was. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense. How old were you when he got back? When you guys started talking again?
About 22, 23.
Okay. So, you're 22, 23. Do you want to share some of the things that you saw that made you uncomfortable, or do you not want to go there? That's fine regardless.
I didn't really see much of anything for a while. I'm trying to think. In 2003, it got to the point where he wanted to walk my boys to the store because he would come over, especially at the beginning of the month, and be like, "Hey, I want to treat the boys," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But little did he know, because my boys were young. My daughter was 3. And I turned around and I didn't like the vibe, or I guess you can call it intuition.
Okay. No,
If
I hear you.
if I don't keep my eyes, he's gonna touch my boys.
Wow.
So where I lived, I could literally see them as they were walking, and I was getting ready just to grab my daughter and go out the door if need be, because he couldn't have veered anywhere else,
Yeah.
because he said, "I'll be
Um,
back."
hey, Diana, people are wondering, do you have on or something? Because
Nope, I haven't got no TV on.
okay, because we're getting some background noise. I'm not sure what it is, but there's some background noise, definitely.
Oh, I hear background noise myself. I haven't said anything,
Hmm.
but I don't have it. I'm in my bedroom while my husband's sleeping.
Okay. Do me a favor. Can you drop and I'll bring you back up and let's see if that clears it up. Because sometimes TikTok is a little wonky like that.
All right.
Okay, thanks. I'll kick you out. Hey, Bobby and Brandy. When Diana comes back, why don't you ask any questions that you'd like? Because I'm sure I'm missing stuff. I'm kind of going on what kind of tying it in with what I heard today about some stuff. So
I would also like to ask a couple of questions.
sure. Okay, let me invite you back up here. There you go. And I'm gonna mute so you guys can ask what you'd like.
Okay.
Thank you for coming back.
Oh, not a problem.
Meeps, you had a couple of questions you wanted to ask. And Diana, I want you to know also, if there's something you don't feel comfortable with answering, please let us know that. We're not, I don't want to put anybody in an uncomfortable situation tonight, okay?
Okay.
Hi, Diana.
Hello.
I just, from my perspective, he always made me feel like don't become Facebook friends with my sister. All she does is lie, and you probably got the same side about me. But I
Um,
just, you don't have to answer this, but I'm just wondering, did nobody in the family feel comfortable enough to like just reach out to me and tell me this?
I had no way to get in contact with you, and I didn't even know like your last name or whatever. The reason why he didn't like his partners talking to me, because he knew they would ask questions. And if they asked questions, he knew I wasn't going to sugarcoat it, because if you want to know something, ask me, because no one's ever accused me of Billy freaking Wonka. I
Right.
refuse to lie and bend for anybody, because it's not right. Lying's not right. Stealing's not right. Scamming people's not right. My boy
No, it's
lived
not
with
at
my
all.
mom.
I wasn't even on this app until people messaged me and were telling me things that he was saying about me that weren't even true.
I heard some things, but I figured they're likely lies. So, and I was like, well, if she wants to get in contact with me,
Things that I just never knew how. But
well,
now I know. So, yeah, so send me a message on here anyway, and I'll share with you my last name so you can Facebook me. I mean, I said it wrong. Sorry.
And Meeps, along those same lines, okay, I wanted to tell you, again, I had a conversation today. Bobby came in on the tail end of it with me. It was with two relatives. And
On his dad's side or mom's side?
Um, it was one of his exes
Oh, okay.
and a relative. I these people asked to remain as anonymous as possible because, kind of like Diana,
Yeah, I
they
respect
can't
that.
stand him. They can't stand him. They hate him. They just don't want to be a part of his life. Nothing. But I can tell you that he's made and pardon me for like kind of they just don't want to be a part of it about who it is. But from what I was told, Sean pretty much has claimed that all of his exes were rug addicts.
Oh, yes, he said that about Meeps.
Yes.
I'm in recovery, so yeah. When I met him, I was. Yes, I was. I've never denied that.
We've met before, haven't we?
We only met once or twice, and that was
Okay.
maybe
Now I know
2011 or
exactly
12.
who you are. Okay.
Well, I was with him for almost
What?
16 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry for you.
Thank you. I'm married now to a wonderful man.
Oh, congrats,
And
baby.
and let me tell you something, Diana, that chaps Alfred's ass like crazy. He fucking hates that Meeps is with somebody and is happy, and it absolutely chaps his hiney.
Oh, I'd love to blow this thing out of the water.
Yeah.
What
It's
seriously makes me mad? Oh, my buns are fried. Because let me tell you on what. That lousy SOB has never served in the military. Oh, Lord. Stealing valor is what my husband likes to refer it to.
Yep.
but
Stolen
hasn't
valor.
wasn't he said he was in the Marines?
He ain't never been no military.
Well, I know that, but he's claimed that to me and my some of my family members many times.
If my husband would be awake, I'd be like, "You want to meet a real life veteran?
Yep.
He's a
We have
combat
we have
veteran."
we have a gentleman, Diana, that comes in here. His name is Guardians of Valor.
Mm-hmm.
He works for the Stolen Valor Association, and he calls out people. And he indeed, did a search for Sean, obviously, just to prove, hi Guardians, that he indeed lied about it. And Sean to this day claims that he never said that. Yet, we've heard multiple
Oh,
stories.
yes, he has said it.
Yeah, I know. So, getting back to some of the questions that people were asking here, and I know why somebody's asking this. Was Sean ever I don't want to say violent, but was he ever bad to? Did he ever treat animals poorly? Did he ever unalive little animals or anything when he was little?
He has injured. Remember, I said something about my grandmother's house and a coffee pot.
Yep.
There was a cat there,
Wow.
and he beat the cat in front of
Oh my
our
God.
our two really little cousins.
Wow. Well, I don't know if you know this about Alfred, but he took in a stray cat that was pregnant. The cat had 5 kittens, and miraculously, one by one, they all passed away.
Oh,
Yeah. He claimed that, after the third one passed, he claimed he took him to the vet, and the vet said, oh, well, they have problems because they were inbred and they didn't, their lungs didn't grow properly and this and that. And then he brought the mother cat home with the 2 cats, and then the other 2 kittens passed away. To put the icing on the cake, Diana, when he moved from Texas to where he is now, he left the two cats. He said he gave them to a neighbor. Because his sweetheart has a dog, and he had imagined that this dog would be spending a lot of time there. And lo and behold, he blew that whole thing up. Or I should say, Dan Bobby did some pretty damn good research. And, I'm not sure of the status of them. I really could give a rat's ass. But yeah. Bobby and Brandy, do you guys have any questions for Diana or me? Do you have any other questions for her? Something maybe she's talked to you about, Bobby, that you want to ask her about?
No, I just want to thank Diane for coming up telling her story. She told everything that she's told me, and I just wanted the story to get out. That's basically it.
And like I said earlier, Bobby, I don't think you were on here. And I've been following Sean for a long time and calling him out for begging on this app. And we've all heard his stories over the past year and a half, wherever, however long people in here have been following him. And he's told a lot of stories. And a lot of the stories, as I said, that he told were lies. Number one, he indeed, he said that his mother put him up for adoption because she couldn't handle him. That might have been part of the truth, but more importantly was the fact of what he did with some young children. That was the reason. It wasn't that he was out of control. That was a part of it, but the deal breaker was that. He did have the opportunity, family, but he blew himself out of that one too. That didn't happen. So, we talk about bad choices that people make. And, as Bobby has talked to people, as I've talked to some people today, more and more lies have been, shown to me. I can tell you that today, indeed, that remember he told that story about how he went to prison because he was sticking up for, I think he said there was a woman in a bar that was getting assaulted or something. Do you guys remember that story, Bobby? Me,
He told
Brandon?
what he told me is that he had a cousin that was exploited by somebody in there,
Right.
and that's
Um,
why.
Yes, he said he was attacking a pedo.
Right. I can tell you today, based on two relatives that I was messaging, the reason why he went to jail and he went to prison. A trigger warning, everybody, please. This is a DV trigger warning, so if that type of thing is hard to listen to, then you may want to leave here for a few minutes. What I was told today was that the reason why he was arrested was because he beat up the mother of one of her kids. She was 8 months pregnant with the child. According to what this ex told me, is that he didn't want her to have the baby. He had asked her to have the baby, and she wasn't going to do that. And he beat her up. And I think it went so far as he pushed her down the stairs. She ended up calling her mother, and her mother called the police in Lewiston, and he was arrested. And that's why he was arrested. It had nothing to do with him sticking up for somebody. And that was verified today by his ex.
Wow. I never heard that before.
Me
Because
neither.
he lied. Because he lied. He told you that he was trying to be, Super Sean, and he was, saving the day, and he was saving this person that was, being, abused, and absolutely it was the other way around.
I'm
I could,
so glad I got away from him.
yep. I can tell you also that when Sean was in prison, so he was not there for the birth of the child. And from that point on, obviously she didn't want him around. And he had nothing to do with the child that was born when he was in prison. There was another child in the house at the time. He was supposed to have visitation, and he did not visit the other child. And that's when he signed over his custody. He did not sign over custody of his kids because he claims he had cancer.
Nope.
He has said that like he did this wonderful thing. He didn't want his kids to see him slowly unalive from cancer. And that's why I walked away from the kids. No.
Then
He
there's the
signed.
story of him saying that it was me calling DHS saying that he was an unfit father. I
That's
never
what he
called
used to
DHS
tell
on him.
me. He used to
Never
tell me
called
that all the
DHS.
time. You were calling.
Nope. There was one time with I was close friends with one of his exes.
Yeah, I know
And
that.
I won't name names, and I won't name
No.
which child.
Yep.
Um,
Thank you.
he turned around and she called me up, told me she had asked her, well, would you like me to bring him with me so he can at least see the baby? She said yes. And she wasn't aware that her mom was going to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure, if I recollect correctly, so don't quote me on
Oh, I can't. I wasn't there.
that, I think her mom was a lawyer.
Yeah, I can't remember that. I think I know who you're talking about, but we're not going to say names.
Exactly. And we showed up at the hospital. Well, her mother had him escorted all of the hospital, and he thought for sure I set him up. And I didn't. I just wanted him to be able to see his son. And,
Diana, you don't know how many times he had told me that you called DHS on him or you set him up.
well, I mean, really, if anybody with a half a brain, they'll put two and two together. You cannot call DHS and say, hey, this person's an unfit parent.
Right, they're
There's an
going to do an
investigation that goes
investigation.
on. Now you got to now think of his past. He was in foster home after foster home after foster home. These people didn't want him, so they turn on and send him to that group home, Spurwink in South Portland.
Yeah,
Well, he ended
I've
up
heard about
aging
that.
out because nobody wanted him.
Can I
So
ask you a question?
so
Just
they
a
have
quick
to debrief the
question.
parents.
I don't want to take up a lot of time, but can I ask a question?
Sure.
I don't know if you're familiar with a scar he has on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how he got that?
I certainly do. I
Okay,
certainly do.
I would like to hear that, and then I would like to tell you what he told, how he got it, what he told me.
Okay. We were living on Maple Street in Lewiston. If I'm not mistaken, it was the third floor. I don't think the building's there anymore. If it is, I'll be surprised. Um, we were young. We were playing on the porch, and there was another young man, and his name was also Sean. And him and my brother were wrestling around, and my brother went through the window.
Okay. Can I share the story he told me about that, Scar?
Sure.
He told me he was in Central Park in New York, and a man was beating up his girlfriend or wife.
Oh
And he
God.
stepped in and got,
No,
yeah.
he got that at a very young age. I'll say maybe about 3.
Oh,
And
I
it
believe
was
it.
really big, nasty scar. I mean, obviously, being that young, and you see the size of it now.
Right.
You know the size of it.
Yeah, right.
So Sean has a hero complex.
Um,
Seems like it.
yes, I was listening to one of his things before, and he said that he was sticking up for me, and that wasn't the case. It was vice versa. It was me sticking up for him, and he didn't get that. I don't know where he got the scar on his hand from, but no.
Also, Diana, I would like to be in contact with your mom because I always loved her, but I was afraid to because we split up and he was in the
Oh,
probably
honey,
putting things in your
my
head.
mom still talks to my ex-husband.
Okay,
So
well,
that should say something to you.
okay, that's good to know.
And Diana, tell us, without getting too, giving out too much information, how is your mom doing?
She is fine.
So
She
she's not gravely ill.
No,
That's so good to hear.
she's not gravely ill. She's literally right now. She's probably watching TV in bed right now, or coloring, or maybe sleeping.
Or on a phone playing a game.
Right.
So pretty much when he was telling people, when he was trying to get $1,220 a new apartment because he needed to be closer to his mom, that was a bull-faced lie.
Yes, because she she had already, she's already informed neighbors, described how he looks to neighbors
I can
just in
see her
case he
being
shows up.
mortified.
And she's making sure her doors are locked because she won't answer the door for him. She'll answer the phone, but that's a different story.
Now, he had made a comment a couple nights ago on live that somebody reached out to him and what did he say? Did he say his mom? Somebody reached out to him and said his
Okay,
mom.
I know what you're talking about. You don't even have to finish that spiel.
Okay.
So I turned around. I ended up finding out what he was doing with this, trying to garner money so he could do whatever to go supposedly help our mother. I informed my mother. My mother then told me, she goes, "You message him and you tell him I'm dead."
Wow.
Their mother is spicy too, so
I
I
turned
believe that.
around. I did message him, but then I felt bad because I didn't want to be like him. I did not want to lie in any way, shape, or form. So I turned around. I thought that the TikTok Messenger worked like Facebook Messenger. So I thought I had unsend the message, which clearly didn't happen because I thought better of it. I'm like, no, because then he's going to turn around and try and scam people because he's going to claim that he needs to pay for a funeral and this and that. And he's going to end up, oh, Lord. And the truth of that would be, it would fall on me and my sister. As my sister.
Right. And it's funny that you said that because that's exactly what he'd do. He would say, I need $1,000 to help with my mother's my mother's funeral costs. If anybody can, I mean, I could totally see him doing that.
You know what? I'll say it right here, right now. I'll tell you all exactly what my mother wants when she dies. Okay? So that way it'll be debunked before it even happens.
Oh,
My mother wants to be cremated. Then she wants a celebration of her life with her children and grandchildren, minus him,
wow.
because she doesn't want him around the grandbabies or the great grandchildren, let alone her dead body.
And again, I want everybody that's listening in here and watching from the outside, and I'm going to let you know, Sean is not blocked on this account. From his main account is not blocked.
I
Don't
wish you'd
care.
take a box.
No, I know, but I just I wanted to put that out there. But you have his sister putting out the truth about him. You have his sister putting out the truth about his mother and how his mother feels about him. Today, I was in contact with one of his exes that he had children with. She is just, I think the quote was, because I said, can I bring up some of this information tonight? And I think her exact quote was, effing bury him. Okay, you have, you have kids who don't want to talk to him. I mean, this should all paint a picture of who he really is. How long have we been telling you that Sean is not a good guy? He's a terrible human being. And all this time, what does he do? He says, "Oh, lie about me." So is it possible that every single person, even relatives of his, sisters, exes, kids, everybody's lying about him? Does that make any sense?
It took me a while to come to that realization. Everybody be having the same story, but his lie like changes on the daily.
Yeah.
Like it started like sinking into my head.
I want to clear something up because I just got a text message. I can tell you that there are relatives of his listening to this live right now. They might actually be in here, and I have my messages open because to the people I spoke with today, I said, if there's anything that I'm saying that's not correct, please clear it up so I can clear it up. And what I want to clear up is when he was arrested, what he had tried to do was throw his ex down the stairs because he didn't want her to have the child.
That sounds like, huh?
So
I don't know who Dex that is.
yeah, I don't want to put names out there because obviously
That is too.
the other thing that I want to say is that very recently he threatened one of his kids, and I mean very recently, saying that if they talk to any of us, that he was going to spread lies about them.
Oh, well, I ain't worried because obviously he's been doing nothing but spreading lies about me. So what do I care?
Don't feel bad. He lies about me constantly too. So
I know with Meeps, when he was with Meeps, he worked very little. Meeps, when he was with you, he did not take any medications for what he was collecting SSI for, correct?
no, nope, not at all. I know his exact diagnosis. I'm not going to say it,
Yep.
but if Diana wants to reach out, I will tell her. But no, he was not taking meds for what he was diagnosed with.
I'm going to I'm going to read you something that was put in a chat today when I was discussing Sean. He got arrested because he was beating me and dragged me down our stairs when I was 7 months pregnant. I was on the phone with her mother. She called Lewiston Police Department. They saw the marks I had and arrested him instantly.
I believe that story because when I first met him in '06, when he was 28, it was New Year's Eve, and I said, "Do you want to like just go out for a couple of drinks?" And he didn't want to, but I did. And he said, "If you leave, I'm going to smash up." I had a brand like the building was just built, so I had a brand new apartment. And he said, "I'm going to smash up everything in this kitchen. It will be crushed if you go out tonight."
That doesn't surprise me. He had an ex-girlfriend he threw throwing stars at. And
Wow.
then one of his other girlfriends that was pregnant with child, again, I'm not going to name names, he had thrown a bottle at her and it barely missed her head, all because she said she wanted space and a separation for the time being while she figured her was best for the
I've
baby.
experienced similar things with him.
I can tell you some other information that I found out. He said that he gave up his kids because he was diagnosed with cancer. To see him deteriorate due to his cancer diagnosis. Again, that's not the case. One of the kids, the mother had to give up custody because of Sean made her homeless, and she had to live in a tent for a while. And she could not take care of a child in a tent based on what Sean did. And that was why one of the kids was put up for adoption.
Can I ask Diana just one more question?
For adoption.
Can I ask Diana just one more question?
Sure.
'Cause I'm just like, my mind's blown right now. Diana, he told me in his late teens and early 20s, we can't say the word on here. So, was he ever into rack when he was younger? With a C.
I don't even know what that is.
Was he into rugs? Did he do rugs when he was younger? And by that, instead of an R, put a D in front of it?
Like C-rack?
I don't even know what that is. Oh my God. Oh.
My butt crack.
I get it. Not that I'm aware of.
So he lied to me about that too.
Wow. The hits keep coming. I'll tell you.
They sure do.
Diana, did he ever reach out to you and ask for money?
No?
Yeah.
I'll answer because he knew he wouldn't get it from her.
That's right.
Yep. So, again, what we've the lies that have been exposed tonight, and it's major ones. Number one, he can work. His SSI is not for physical reasons. I'm not sure why he even still gets that. If he refuses to take medication that would help him, if that's the reason why he's on it, For the life of me, I don't know what it is with SSI and all that. He's 47 years old. Um, taking medication would help him and would allow him to get a job. And let's talk about even before he had that muscle tear or whatever. Okay. He refuses to work. He refuses to take medicine to make himself better. So whenever he talks about, that excuse doesn't wash anymore because he was diagnosed a long time ago and refuses to take medication. So he can forget about using that as a sympathy grab. Number two, he did not walk away from his kids or sign them over because he had cancer. Um, he left his kids flat out. For various reasons, he did not want to have his kids. He did not want to take care of his kids. He did not want anything with his kids. And number three, it is indeed true that when he was young, there was inappropriate things that happened with him and some younger people, and that's why he was. That's why his mom couldn't take care of him anymore. She did not feel comfortable with it. So, I mean, those are three major lies that he has built his platform on to use for a money grab. Why he went to prison. Oh, he's a hero. He was trying to save somebody in a bar. That's a lie. I was in Central Park and I was trying to help somebody that was, whatever, being attacked, whatever. That's a lie. And so when we say that Sean lies all the time, and when we call him out for all this bullshit he does, and I hope his mods are listening. I hope to God his mods are listening. Because if you continue to support this based on what you've heard his sister say, based on what you've heard what his mom has said about him, based on what you've heard him do to one of his exes, come on. Come on.
Oh, didn't say question about where he was now.
Yes.
I'll tell you, he's in Illinois.
Yes, he is.
Question, because I'm baffled. Did he ever have a girlfriend and he was down there and she got hit by an 18-wheeler and he was going to propose to her in like Kennesaw, Georgia?
Huh?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You see? Wow.
Yeah, I've heard that story before.
According to my mother, he's been engaged many, 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 many times.
He knew I would never marry him.
Wow.
But that story, the girlfriend, he even had a name. Her name was Annie.
That's my
And
mother's name.
you know what? It didn't connect at the time, but like that story sat with me, and now I feel like almost 16 years of my life was a lie.
It's got to be hard to hear, Meeps.
It's very hard to hear, but I'm glad. I hope me and her can have some kind of relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And your mom, because I'm not a bad person.
Didn't think you were.
Yeah, I never thought you were either. It just, he led me to believe things that, well, let's just say he told me things and wanted me to believe them, and I didn't believe them, but if I reached out to anybody, then I was going against him.
Yeah, and then there'd be hell to pay. I know.
Yeah.
I just got a message from somebody that pretty much, I mean, it verifies, what we knew about him when he was in the camper. It said that when he lived in the camper, the money he got, he used for alcohol instead of getting stuff he needed, like food, fixing his car, rent, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that we saw that on a daily basis with him. Him and his Everclear.
Ugh.
Yeah. Um,
Any other questions for me?
you know what, Diana, you've filled in a huge gap in his life, and you know, I appreciate you coming here, and I know it was probably like opening up some old wounds. You know, but
It has been rough because I mean I've been speaking to Bobby,
mhm.
and like I said, him and I are complete opposites. He loves the chaos and mayhem, and me, I'm like a hippie, except I don't hug the trees. I
Diana,
promise.
please,
Yeah.
when you drop, please
Hey,
send me a message on TikTok and I'll give you my Facebook info.
Oh yeah,
Please and thank you.
not a problem.
Thank you. It was
I'm
nice
gonna tell you,
talking with
it's
you.
very hard. I'm new-ish to this TikTok thing.
I was too when I first found out that he was talking about me.
Yeah.
But you take care, and I hope all the kids are doing good.
Oh yeah, most of them are all grown.
Oh, I know.
Diana, thank you so much for coming in tonight. I appreciate you giving us some insight from your perspective. You've answered a lot of questions. You know, you've kind of made what we've been doing on here, bringing awareness to him, some credence for what we've been saying. And you know, he can't turn around now and say, "Oh, well, all they do is they lie about me all the time."
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't happen.
Well,
Um,
he did call my mother earlier today, and I think he knew what was going to happen tonight
mhm.
because he said, "Well, I just won't contact you anymore."
She needs to block his number just for her to have peace of mind.
Because I was trying to get her to come on here with me, and like I said, my dad died um, a year ago in July, and another reason why I did this is I wanted to find out if he used my dad in any way, shape, or form for any of his little scams.
I don't think he did, but
Little scam.
Facebook when I was with him, so who knows?
You know,
Yeah.
I could be wrong. There's probably people that were closer to him, and this was, you said, a year ago, this past July.
July, this is 25.
I think he passed after I left Sean. I left Sean in October of 2022. If
Yeah,
I'm
my dad died, like I said, a year ago this past July.
Okay, so he passed away in 2024.
Yeah.
So I was covering Sean then, and I'm not even sure if I ever remember him mentioning anything. Yeah, he said it was his uncle. Because remember he said that when we came up with a meme, he said, "Oh, they took my uncle's picture. You know, that's terrible. I can't believe that."
My
Yes,
uncle
I remember him
died.
saying that.
The uncle died in January. I only recollect this because the time my mother called me, my husband was in the hospital fighting for his life on the ECMO machine. And I was on my way going into the hospital to go see my husband.
Wow.
And she called to tell me. So that happened this past January.
Wow.
Now, please tell your mom I'm very sorry for her loss because I haven't been able to talk to her since he passed away.
Oh, I will.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Diana, thank you so much for coming in tonight. I appreciate
Not a problem at all.
it. Okay, I'll drop you out of here, okay? Thank you.
All right, y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you. You know, it amazes me, two kids brought up in the same household, and how their lives took total opposite trajectories, you know? And I have to say, again, shout out to Bobby, shout out to Brandy. When Diana came in here tonight, I mean, I knew who she was, but I wasn't expecting her in here. So, again, amazing work. Brandy did some amazing work.
I learned so much tonight that I didn't even know.
And one of the things that I want to bring up, he has raked you over the coals, Meeps.
Oh, I know.
All he does is bring up, oh, she was a rughead. She was a rughead. And I want to read to you, and I'm scrolling through all these messages here. And give me a second for this. Regarding rug use, because Sean has said it seems like everybody that he was with was a rug user, and that's what he always used. Okay, here it is. I asked if one of his exes that he claimed was a huge rug user, if there was an actual rug problem there.
Mm-hmm.
And because I said that, it seems like every ex of Sean's he claims had a rug problem. And the person said none of them had rug issues. And he has claimed that they all did.
Doesn't surprise me, but I'm still like in kind of
Yeah.
a little in shock.
No, and I understand that, Mapes, because, you're out things tonight that you didn't know about. And, that you believed when Alfred E. Newman there was telling you these stories, just like a lot of people that go into his lives, they believe him,
And like as far as excuse me, Diana saying the Alfred E. Newman, that was one of the first things he said when I met him, that when he doesn't wear a baseball cap, people tell him he looks like Alfred E. Newman.
Nice.
So confirmed.
Yeah. And I'm going to, I'm going to, there's a lot of information that I know Bobby found out, and there's a lot of information I found out that we're not even going to put out,
Is it
because
that bad?
it just I don't want to, I don't feel comfortable putting it out.
Okay.
So there's more to it, but at some you gotta, I have to draw the line morally.
Is this stuff I could look up for myself?
Probably not. No.
Okay.
No. I can tell you, Sean, I know you're listening, and you're gonna say, "Oh, they're full of shit. They haven't talked to anybody." And I know that you're gonna say that, and let me. I did, Sean. One of the people I spoke to, I asked your ex, you and Sean would know. So, Sean, just so you know that I indeed talked to this person. Does Range Pond ring a bell, Sean?
It's Rang Pong.
Rang Pond.
That doesn't surprise me because he liked to go there, but I don't
Mhm.
even know what that means.
Well, and I'm not going to go into it, but
No, I don't want you
um,
to.
nope. And that I'm sure when he hears that, he knows damn well. He knows damn well that I indeed talked to somebody.
Just by saying those two words, he knows.
Yep.
Because you're not from Maine, so
Yep. So, and that's nothing bad, guys. I mean that's nothing bad. Don't don't think that something nefarious happened there. It didn't, but it's something that not too many people know about. So so it's Rang Pond. Rang Pond.
yes, it's Rang Pong.
Yep, Sean, there it is, buddy. So you know who I talked to.
And I know of that place because he took me there a couple times.
So I'll tell you, there's so much I learned about him that just makes me sick. Like I said, it's like I want to be happy because I feel like all the people that have brought awareness to Sean over all these years, when he's called people liars and they're not telling the truth, and it's like I think all of us that have brought awareness to him feel vindicated because we've always known he's a piece of shit and he's a liar. But again, involved in this, there are kids, there are exes, there are girlfriends, there are parents, there are uncles, grandkids. There's a lot of other people that are involved in this situation. And, that makes me pretty sad.
I would say he's probably emotionally hurt. Just emotionally, a lot of people.
Yeah. You know, so I really, we always talk about don't send money to people on social media. You don't know them. Sean tells a good story, and this is a good situation where you know you never know exactly who you're sending money to. You never know, and with somebody like Sean, now that you know, is that somebody you really want to support financially or emotionally, considering all that information that got put out there tonight? And again, guys, I can't say this enough. I cannot say this enough. Thank you so much to Dan Bobby and to Brandy, because they started peeling away the layers of this rotten onion known as Sean by finding information out about him. And slowly and surely, the lies started, becoming uncovered. And, we talk about karma, we talk about all that stuff, For those of you that did see Sean live last night, he was schnockered. And you look at his live from last night and you look at his live from prior to him moving, what a difference. Okay? What a difference in terms of his persona. He messed up. And whether, he's claiming that he thought that they were, or he's still saying that they were his sweetheart now and her husband were separated, which they weren't. Whether he knew it or not, when you think about, that's how this all got started. That's how all this information started coming out. And it's like that little snowball you hand pack, and then you start rolling it and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened with this. We weren't looking we weren't looking for all of this information, but when you have family members reaching out to you to tell you what a piece of shit he is, and these people don't want anything to do with him anymore, that tells you everything you need to know about him. And again, it's a good reason why you never ever send money on this app or on social media to anybody, because you don't know what's under that mask that they have on. And we have a guy that because you don't, at a young age, unalive the cat with a teapot. You have a guy at a young age that did something despicable with little kids. You have a guy that purposely lit his room on fire when he was in a group home type of thing. You have somebody who was going to be adopted by family members, and that didn't happen because of his terrible behavior. You have somebody that lied about why he was arrested. You have somebody that lied about a scar on his shoulder, both times making it sound like he was trying to save the day, when in fact it's farthest from the truth. You have somebody that lies about why he can't work. You have somebody who lies about how he always claims mental health issues when it's good for him to get sympathy because he's being harassed and bullied by people, when in fact he has never taken medication for it, even though he has been prescribed it. You have somebody who has now, this is the second married woman he has gotten involved with. The list goes on and on. The list goes on and on. Yep, lies about having cancer, lied about giving up his kids because he had cancer. Come on. There is just nothing redeeming about this guy. I'm sorry. I am sorry, nothing redeeming about him. The way he talks to women on this app, the way he portrays women on this app, there's nothing redeeming. All the while he sits on a couch or a chair, whatever, sitting on social media, degrading women, drinking his Everclear with his emotional support tumbler. He's not going to change. His whole life is a lie. Yep. He's not going to change. Yeah. There was some of the information that I got that he had been tested when he was younger, when he was diagnosed with what he is on SSI for, and even at that time he wouldn't take medication. So it leads me to wonder about, we know the cancer thing is bullshit. Okay? We know the cancer thing is bullshit. It makes me wonder about his other quote unquote health situations as to whether they're as serious as he says, because he sure as hell doesn't take care of himself. He does have polycythemia. Yeah, but he doesn't take care of himself. It never was cancer. Um, you know, he lied about that. You know, his relatives have they told me that he's never had cancer. The unattached muscle, listen, there's people, a cricket in here has the same thing, and she works, and she worked with it, and you can work with it. But again, he chooses not to because he gets that check every month. He gets that check every month. Why would he want to work when he can sit on his ass? He gets a check from the government every month, and he doesn't have to do anything. And he doesn't have to do anything. You know, Meeps talked about that whole thing already. You know, he said that there was a sponge left in there. She was there. That never happened. It never happened. You know, you go on Amazon and in fact I posted one about that when you have torn muscles in your abdomen that will keep them in place and it'll support it. So, you know, he could easily, well, that's what he should ask for. He should ask for money for a girdle so he can get his ass off the couch and start taking care of himself, you know? And, you know, maybe, just maybe, enough people, you know, that support him will hear these stories tonight and say, fuck that. I want nothing to do with him. And maybe it'll force him to finally have to do something and start being an adult at 47. So my guess is Sean will come on live at some point soon, whether it's today or tomorrow. And he will get that liquid courage up and he will try to debunk everything tonight. And he will say everybody lied. He will say, oh, my sister doesn't know that because we didn't talk during that time. And he'll make up every excuse in the book. We're all liars. Every single person is a liar. Which is ridiculous because think about it. I didn't even know. I haven't even talked to the people that I talked to until today. And they were telling me the same stories that I heard from other. So how is that even possible? That this was all, you know, this is all made up and lies. Right, he wants those pancakes, Peps. Well, oh, and I'll tell you, I am mentally drained. This has been a day. So again, a huge shout out. Huge shout out to Bobby and Brandy. Oh my God. The amount of work that they've put in and, you know, some of the stuff, you know, they've shared with some of us. And I'm amazed, you know. I'm amazed. I'm amazed at what they were able to find out, you know. Sean, your day is coming. You know, you're living now in an area where, you know, there's more people in a state that you just moved into where you didn't know anybody, but now you know people that don't like you, which seems to be par for the course. I don't even care for the person that his sweetheart. I could care less about her based on what I've heard about her. But if she was smart, she would run the hell away. Run the hell away. To the person that is listening to my live that has been messaging me and that I was conversing with today, thank you so much for reaching out to me and giving me information. To the ex that I was conversing with, I want to thank you very much for reaching out and giving me some background. It was hard. It was hard hearing this stuff. It was hard. It's hard hearing a lot of this stuff. But I want to thank you guys for, again, opening up some old wounds to really show us exactly who he is. So, to my mods, thank you so much for crossing over to this other account. And thank you, everybody, for coming over here. The reason why I wanted to go on this account is, again, I've been messaging people all day on my main through TikTok. To be able to have that message string open and available to me so I could refer back to it and, which is why I skipped over to 3.0 tonight for this. There were a lot of people involved in this live tonight, and I want to thank everybody again for coming over. To say that I'm really disappointed in Sean, I'm not disappointed. I knew he was worse than. I didn't know he was this. I didn't know he was this bad. I knew he was worse than what he portrayed himself to be. I never imagined it was as bad as it is. And wow. So yeah, very, very unsettling. So I'm telling you now, I'm going to be taking the day off tomorrow. I'm not going live tomorrow. A little mental health day, and next time I'll see you guys is on Wednesday or Thursday. Okay? Have a great one. Have a great night, and thank you for